Recording.
right? And we live, we recording. So,
Yes.
small introduction. I'm Basu from the Goal Trainers, and I'm here with Iwan Redan,
Uh,
ex-football player or soccer player, as we say it. And right now, the starter of the Beyond Yourself Academy, the Beyond Yourself Gym, football
yeah.
coach, performance, and many more. It's an honor. It's a true honor.
It's likewise. Speaking with you, Mr. Calisthenic, the one who has a free spirit, everything. So I'm glad to be of service.
Thanks, man. And it's a bit late on the evening, but I mean, that's the entrepreneurial spirit, right? It's 10:30, so
Hey, business never sleeps, so no worries.
that's I like that, man. That's exactly the way I think.
Yeah,
Okay, um, so let's jump right into it because I got some questions for you that I'm dying to hear the answers for.
yeah,
Um,
that's good.
First things first. Right now, after your pro soccer career, you
hmm
are a performance coach and a football coach. Now, explain me a little bit. What is a performance coach in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think that the performance coach is someone who can really adjust people's levels on high, professional level. So
Mhm.
like purpose-driven development. So always have an intention to increase the level of the performance eventually, so that they can perform better on the day when the game is due. Um, and the difference with a football coach is more than it's technical, and it's more like with a specific goal, like with the ball or with uh, whatever sports is at hand. And a performance coach is more like the physical part, the mental part, but always in a functional way to let them perform in a higher level. That's
Okay.
my opinion. That's my opinion of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel that. And of course, from your own experience being a professional, you brought a lot with you. So, what can you bring to the table when you're working with other professionals from your experience, from what you learned?
I think the most I think my best part is that I can bring a lot of passion with it, because once I was a young boy, I had one dream, and that was to become a soccer player, professional soccer player.
Yeah.
And at that point, I wasn't the best soccer player. Of course, I was surrounded by many better players, talented players, and all those things. But what I discovered for myself was that I had a better mentality than most of the guys had. When it was raining, snowing, or whatever, I took my ball, ran to the court, and just start playing football. And where I saw that a lot of players were just staying inside, like bringing up excuses like it's too cold, it's too this, too that. I saw at that point that there was a bit of a shift, like a shift, like, oh, so only on certain points you want to excel on the thing you love. And whenever you love something, I don't think there's a boundary to it, to perform or to play, you know. So, um, and that just increased over the years. Also with some down periods, I had some big injuries where I was thrown back like 6 or 9 months back into time. Also that you have to, like get back to yourself, like, hey, who am I? What kind of person am I? What kind of sportsman am I? And what can I bring to offer to come back at the highest level possible? So whenever you get a throwback, like an injury or a setback or a burnout or whatever, it's always the point that you have to come back to yourself, like, hey, at what point am I right now, and where do I want to come out, and how do I want to come out of this situation? And for me, it was very clear when I had the injury the first time. I was like 16, and a lot of things were happening around me. Like you have your friends, you play with them on the pitch and in the court and everything, and you play for a professional soccer player. You're just coming up, you're top scorer, so when you have success, you got a lot of people around you, everything. And at that point, when something happens like that, everything falls out. Boom, it's gone. And that was also the point that I got to know the people around you, who's real, who's not real. And that really made something also, you know, pop inside my head like, hey, you know, what do I want to do, and who do I take around me? I have like a small circle, especially now after those circumstances. I was 16, but I was really abrupt with it. So I was like, hey, if you wasn't there for me then, don't be there after it. So when I came back on the higher level and I did well again, all the people who were interested to come around me again, like, hey, he's successful again, let's go again. I was like, you know, stay a distance, leave me at peace. And only the people who were around me to support me in all those things and to take care of me, um, I kept them close, and that's how I lived the rest of my life. I have my family, I have my children, my wife, everything. So then I have the people who I work with and my family, like my father also and my mother. Luckily, they are still here. And those are the ones also who taught me a lot of things about life and how to go around with people. So, yeah, that's a little thing.
That's a deep answer, man. Many points actually I really want to go into, but one of the last things that you just said is
Yeah,
the blessings that you have that your parents are still around and that they taught you a lot.
yeah.
Can you share one of the core things that you remember that your father, your mother, or both taught you? What is one of the first things that comes?
The first thing that I know that my father taught me was you were born alone and you will die alone.
Mm,
That's the main thing I remember. Whenever he had his times and he was like on Friday night and he was like, hey, don't be sorry, don't be feeling sad about things, don't be feeling sad if your girlfriend left you, don't be sad about if your friend leaves you. You wasn't born with them, so like you were born alone, you're gonna die alone also. You can get acquainted with some people, but always rely on yourself. I think that was his message, like
yeah,
don't be sorry, don't be feeling sad too much or something. But it was a tough message though, because during your lifetime you get to know a lot of people, and it's up to you who fits in your life and who doesn't, and who do you choose to be with or around it. So at certain points in life, everybody has those moments that you meet somebody, you think this is the right person or whatever, and then that falls away, and then those messages of my father come at hand, and I'm like, there are more worse things than in life than this, like gotta go on with life. I was born alone, gonna die alone. So let's go. It's tough, but it helped me a little at certain times.
yeah, yeah. But I feel it. I mean, it can have a certain negative vibe to it, but it doesn't have to be. It's just for you to be prepared for what's coming.
Yeah, that's it. That's a
Yeah,
good one also. Yeah, because um, if you can relate to it like in a normal, but also like in a positive way, it's also a way to get over things real quick.
mm,
Like you don't stay and be emotional about things like for weeks or for months. Of course, you can be sad about things. That's normal. We're all people and we're all humans, but um, always remember there's also always a bright light behind the cloud. So I think that's a better message to it, or better form to
yeah.
give it a term.
That's a powerful point, man. I might make that the headline of this
Of this,
interview.
of this,
My
I
father
would.
told me, "We come alone, we die alone." It's a powerful point, man.
Yeah, but it's a nice one though. It
Yeah.
helped me a lot. It helped me a lot. I don't think I'm gonna teach my kids that way that hard, but
Mm,
it's um it's a a foundation. It's a foundation where I can build my own philosophy, how I want to raise or give give something back for my children.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, beautiful, man.
but I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I, I think I turned out okay. You know,
I
not that
think so
I'm like
too. I
I'm not
think so.
I'm not mentally ill or something, or like brainwashed or something. So I'm okay.
Yeah. Ah, nice. Okay, so another
But
point you.
what was
Mm.
what was the point or the fact that your father or mother taught you that just pops in your head? Let's turn it around now. Come.
Yeah, I love the fact that you reverse it. The first thing that comes to mind, my dad always told me, don't expect, ask. And every time I didn't do it, he looked
Hmm.
at me with a certain look, and he said, "Did you ask?" And it was always, "Yeah, but I thought this and that."
No,
No,
Bob.
did you ask? Point taken.
Bob. Yeah,
Have your stuff clear, know what you're working with, control it for yourself, and then move on.
yeah. That's the best thing. That's the best thing, and that's also that you can, if you're spiritually, you can just also say it like if you want something, like you just pop it into the universe and you go at it, and most of the times it just comes back at you. So, but
Yeah,
if you only wish for it, you gotta
yeah.
act.
It's really beautiful that you say it in this way, because what I notice right now is that I work with this principle daily, the
Hmm.
manifestation of words, asking very clearly for what I want out of life and then going to get it. But now that you say it in this way, I use this advice always practical
Hmm.
because I was pretty young when I lost him. So now that you say it in this way, he might have meant it in a way deeper meaning.
Yeah, and that's the
Whoa,
good thing about it.
that's a,
Yeah,
that's a big realization. Wow.
glad to be part of this moment.
Yeah, man, thank you. That's I feel some real gratitude. I never expected this out of. Now you see how the vibe is going. This is exactly one of the reasons why we should have had this talk, man. Wow. Okay, that's a deep one. That hits me. Thank you, man. Wow. Okay. Um, jump forward,
Yeah.
and I'll reflect a little bit more on this one later on.
You're gonna sleep over one this one. You're
Yeah,
gonna sleep over this one.
waking up tomorrow with a whole new view again.
Nice
Um,
one, nice one.
okay, let's jump a generation. So you said, um, I love the view that my dad gave me. I might teach my children a little less hard. Um,
Or harder.
tell me a little bit about that. I mean, I know you're a father. I know the videos that I see with the kids, amazing. Whenever
Thank
you
you,
tell
thank
me
you.
that we want to spend time with them, and you know, amazing. So, what are like the basic principles that you teach them?
The basic principle is that they have to enjoy their time on this earth. That time is you never know when it's your time. So for me, it's important that the children always enjoy their moments.
Mm,
Of course, they have to do and they have to learn about that life isn't only fun things. They have to like put in labor. When they put in labor, they get the rewards. That's normal. Um, but they have to get a right balance into that one. Don't teach them too young, like to do this or that and that, and that they only think about work, work, work. You have to let them free also, but also keep in mind that there's always a point that they have to know that nothing comes for free. You have to, even you want a cookie, yeah, you want a cookie, okay, mop down the floor or whatever. You know, do something to receive the reward because the life is going to ask that same thing of them later on as well. If they only get taught like, okay, you can receive, receive, receive. You never have to give. Hmm, I wasn't taught like that. I was taught like, if you want something, you gotta ask for it, or you gotta go after it. You gotta work hard for it. You gotta have a goal. And of course, when they are really young, they are just like, like little sunshines in life, um, and that's nice. They just make your life and your day joyful. Um, but at the other side, you always want to protect them also. Like, a life, the real life outside isn't always like that. You gotta be, in order to be joyful every day, you gotta put something back into it also, and that's doing your best at school, um, getting a degree or something. If you're good in sports, go at it. Don't get your talent wasted. Um, just do whatever you can do in your life that makes it reach your potential. If
Mm.
you want to go bungee jumping, go bungee jumping. Don't be at 85 and say like, "Oh, little grandkids, you know, I wish I could have done that." No, go do it. Live life to the max, but with a little uh, state of mind. So I just teach them, go for it. And then now a nice example for my son is that he likes soccer. Like in the beginning we were like doubting like, okay, does he really like soccer, or is it because his dad likes soccer?
Yeah.
And, at that point he got like rejected for some clubs, where he got invited to go on trials, and those were like really an influence for him. Like, hey, oh, I did well at my club. I get invited to a bigger club, but they didn't take me. Ooh, what now? Mentally that can go sideways.
Yeah.
And having lots of conversations with them, like, hey, this is life. If you don't want to go all out at that point, it's a momentum. If you at that moment didn't bring at the game, put it at the table at that moment, and somebody else did, hmm, that's a wasted opportunity. And that's not something to be sad about all the time, but also like, hey, you can learn from this thing. You can get stronger out of this. You can get mentally stronger out of this. And um, being able to talk with him on a certain level, um, I saw that he got like a little bit more aware of the situation around him. Like, okay, okay, I see those kids doing extra work. I see those kids doing extra work. I'm just relying on my talent right now. Hey, what am I gonna do? And then I saw him just picking up the extra training again. And then the last time, I think in December, he got invited again for a professional club to do trials, and he got rejected again.
Mm.
And not rejected like, okay, we not take you, but we're gonna keep following you. Like that's the semi rejection.
Yeah.
And I brought it for him like, okay, no worries. Hey, you're on a good way, on a good road. Just keep on going. Just keep on going. And after that point, he was like a little bit like, okay, okay, what we gonna do? Am I really gonna go for it or not? And at that point, I just say, hey, my son, don't you worry. Just enjoy the game. Enjoy the game how you wanna enjoy it. So at certain points, I didn't even go watch the games straight away. I went into the canteen and just brought a coffee, like chill there and stuff. The game was already begun and stuff, everything. And then after 10 minutes, I just go outside, do my stroll, and then I always watch on a distance. And I remembered at one point I was just standing at the side, and he was playing against Feyenoord, big club, and he had some things, some school things and stuff and everything. So mentally also. And at that point, I was looking at him and I just got emotional, just standing with my coffee and I just get tears in my eyes. Not because he did well at that point playing football or soccer, but I saw he was free, he was free. I saw my son being a child, having fun, doing something he loves, and he was accelerating in that. And he wasn't thinking about, oh, I have to make it to this game or this club. No, no, no. He was playing the game with passion, and that made me emotional. And after that game, I just came to him. I said, "Hey, bro, you're ready. You're ready." And I guess like the corona just kicked in like now for a month or something, and like a week and a half back, he got a call from a big club, Feyenoord, and they want him to play for their club. So yeah, where he got two rejections and never expected to go like one big leap ahead, he deserved it. You know, he was just playing and just enjoying the game, and he really worked for it. You know, so at that point when he got the call, that was something also like unbelievable moments for me. Like that I'm happy to share at that point, because at the other time I would be on in my gym or something at work or something. But now I was just at home playing video games with my youngest son in my lap, and I got the call from Feyenoord, and they were like, "Hey, we want to talk with you, and he's accepted to come play for Feyenoord." I'm like, "Okay, nice, you know, hey, he deserves it." So I called him down. I said, "Hey, Joe, he got a call from somebody." He was like, "Oh, okay," not expecting nothing, and he puts it in his hair and he's like, "Hello," and yeah, with the director from the youth and that. "Hey, Jorali, I think we got some good news for you. How would you like to play for Feyenoord?" And at that point, I just see him break down like this, and started to cry, 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 cry. And I couldn't help it, but I just cried with him. You know, we were just like two crybabies, like all the way down. And my wife just came with the iPad and she was filming it, everything. But those were like, you know, life moments. You know, like those were the happy thoughts, the beautiful thoughts. But always also what came back in that moment were the hardships he endured. You know, he endured so many hardships already at the age of 10. Um, and I could feel it through him. You know, I could feel with him, but also through him. I know about those moments, and to see him at that point, really, you know, like I got rewarded for something. You know, not because I'm not doing my thing. No, I got rewarded because I do extra work. I I got rewarded because I do good at school. I got rewarded because I'm doing well at home. You know, everything is okay, and I got rewarded because I love what I do on the pitch, like for sports. And that just came out at one point like a big boom. So that was for me like, yeah, beautiful.
Whoa. This story is we should make a movie out of this.
You know, I have the whole video. The whole video is like 2.5 minutes.
The way that you
you,
expressed it as well, I was
if you want to see me cry for 2.5 minutes, hey, be my guest.
man, the way you express it, the way you share this story, it has so much power, so much backbone in it. It's yeah, truly
Thank you,
inspirational. And congratulations, of course, but this
thank you. Yeah, it's now it's gonna really start for him. So no pressure from me to him. You know, I know what he can expect, but the most beautiful thing for him is to explore. You know, explore and evolve himself. And yes, I can how do you say it? Guide him or uh, advise him if he wants, but I'm never gonna push him. It's all on him right now.
yeah. But because of course you have to make sure that you you keep the roles a bit separated because you're his father and otherwise it gets too professional or
Yeah, but the thing is, like, when he started with soccer, like at the age of 6, his coach and the coach's son was on the same school as my son, and the coach saw me dropping him by at school. I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? Everything." We made a chat, and he asked me like, "Hey, how would you like to be assistant coach of the youth team. I'm like, youth team, hey, not really my thing right now. And he was like, yeah, drop by Joe and let him play with us. And I'm like, he's just 5 or 6. If he wants to play football, it will come at hand. And then at one point I saw him play some ball, and I guess when two boys at school talk about soccer, the one other one wants to do too. And at the one point, I want to play like where my friend plays. I'm like, okay, cool. Then we go to soccer. And at that point, I became the assistant coach. And from that point, for 2.5 years, I was the coach. And what I saw is that the bond between father and son, when one is coach and one is the athlete, is different than when you're just a dad supporting your son and the coach. Because the coach wants to have the best for his son, of course, but also wants to have the performance. You want to get the results in. And when your son is not doing the things you do, you can be a little bit more, aggressive against him. Like, come on, son, come on, how you like that? And I'm a real fanatic dude. I'm a real fanatic ass, So after 2.5 years, I saw like he's not playing. Every time he did something wrong, he was like looking at the sideline, like, did my dad see it? He's the coach, I'm gonna get it at home and all those things. I'm like, nah, I don't want to put him in that position anymore. So after 2.5 years, I just said to the coach, like, I'm gonna just be a dad, man. I think I educated those kids enough in those 2.5 years. A lot of technical, but also performance things, conditional trainings, things where a lot of people were like skeptic about, like how do you go along with kids? Is it too hard for them? 6 or 7 years old, where I'm like, hey, nothing is too hard for those children because they love what they do. Plus they're young, they adapt quick, plus they recover quick. So what's the difference if I do tough training right now or that they play 6 hours on a little court? What's the difference?
Yeah.
And who's gonna educate them then? Then that when they play at an amateur team, but they all have the ambition to go up to a professional team. If the leap is too big, the counter rejection rate can be high.
Yeah.
But if that level is equalized, like because of the level of play is better,
yeah.
The success rate is much higher. And from the team of my son, I think 5 or 6 guys got admitted to play for professional teams. So that's a beautiful score. And I think from those boys, they all enjoyed heavy training, extra work. They enjoyed the extra work as well. And then when we had to play against the big teams, we always came out winning. So what I was happy to see is that the effort you put in came out on the pitch. Yeah. Not only for the team, but also individually. Because at the end, the coach was like, oh, but we're losing all the guys. They're all going to that. I'm like, hey, that's the most beautiful thing that you as a coach can have. It's a luxurious position because all those kids were under your supervision in the beginning. You were the foundation. That's something they will always remember. That you gave them the trust to be on the pitch. You gave them the trust to be who they are at the pitch or on the pitch. And the most important years are the first years, that they just play the game, enjoy the game, and that they have a good team bonding, like this team spirit. And I think that this was a good step up for these boys. So I'm proud of all those boys, but also all the trainers who have worked with them and taught them so many things about just play. Don't be afraid of nobody. All those things. Their motto was also like, "We are not afraid of nobody." So every time before the pitch, they huddle up and they're like, "Who are we?" And then Excelsior, and then who are we afraid of? Nobody. And then they just go out there and just play the game, and that was perfect, man. And they became champion also like 2 or 3 times in a row also. So it's nice.
Powerful. Some beautiful years, some good progress, and then the perfect moment to head out to the other role and back to
Next
being a dad.
the next chapter. Yeah, but also for me it was like a real revelation also like, hey, what is important for me? Is it important for me to win matches with the team, or is it important for me to be a father? And for me, it was important to be a father to my son. That's it. That's the most important thing for me. Because at the end of the road, he will always look up to me like, hey, father, how did it go? Not like, coach, how did it go?
Of course. Yeah.
You see? And the coach, that's why I don't do that anymore. If he wants to play and he will ask, oh, you want to train? Don't train with me. You can train with me in the garden. We can do here, but not professionally. Just do your thing, because I really love this position now. I can get my cup of tea, get my coffee, and just enjoy the game. And I see that he doesn't turn his head around anymore, looking for where am I? No, he just plays his game, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Beautiful. Nice. Really is. Okay, so when we jump back to the people you do influence a lot, because you work with several professional soccer players,
Yeah.
what do you notice that um, that they lack the most? What do you notice that you have to work the hardest on to really integrate it into, their professional career?
At at first, I want to say like every player that has reached a certain level of professionalism, like becoming a pro footballer, it's deserved. They
Mhm.
don't get it for free. It's always deserved. The only thing that I'm a little bit of yeah, not worried, but what I would like to see more, and what has changed during the course of the years, is that a lot of football or soccer players um, who I've met don't have the real um, winner's mentality,
Mm.
like the mentality to become the best in the world. For instance, again, nostalgic moments. When I was young, I had one dream that was becoming the best soccer player in the world at all costs. Um, of course, it's not always possible for every player, but having that mindset got me to a point that I could reach my goal, enjoy my goal, and inspire others to go even further, farther, further.
Yeah.
And um, and for me, it was the important thing was like I want to be the best with everything. If I was going to run with you, I wanted to win. If we would sit in a sauna, I would stay in the sauna until you go out first. I was crazy, like crazy
Yeah.
mentality. The little details, if we do push-ups, I'm gonna go on with the push-ups until you stop. Even if it's like 1/2 second later, I just had that gratitude, grateful feeling like yes, I did it.
Mhm.
And that wasn't because I was that of a good player. No, that was because I knew I didn't have those talentful skills everybody had. I couldn't make scissors and all those things, and like pass 3, 4, 5 guys. No, that wasn't my game. My game was just get the ball, shoot, score. Actually for a striker, that's the most important thing. But
Yeah.
later on the pitch, you get all surrounded by all those guys who can do everything with the ball. The magicians with the ball. I love to see it, but in my time, it was like 30 years ago. It was like important to do nutmeg. So I'm like, nutmeg, nutmeg. Why you want to do a nutmeg? You can do a nutmeg, but when I score the ball, you have to sit down on the side and wait for me, wait for the next try. If you do a nutmeg and you lose the ball, what's the catch? But in the end, you're gonna be rewarded by a club if you score goals.
Yeah.
That was my philosophy. So even on the pitch, you want to win. And I saw that the tendency was like, oh, we just want to have fun. We just want to have, play around and do actions and, you know, uh, how do you say that? Beledigen.
To offend?
No, not in an aggressive way, but on a funny way. They
Uh,
want to make fun of somebody. Like
yeah,
I gave you a nutmeg and another one, and like that.
yeah,
And I'm like, what's the use of that? Because that nutmeg, people later are not going to pay for that one. Clubs are not going to give you contracts if you only can do nutmeg. You have to be functional. And I think my quality was to be functional. Like a striker, just score goals. And on the pitch, I was known like the one who's had the hardest shot. And the runner, the conditional guy. That's it. Later on, when I was 16, that was the point. I learned to do some scissor moves, like back flips and all those things. But all those years before, I was functional. Get the ball, pass the ball, get the ball, shoot the ball, and run at it.
and drive with a winner's mentality. I
Yeah,
think.
I'll try to out train somebody or have a fitness mindset like a be the best.
Mm.
I have one trophy at my house, at my parents' house in my old room, and that is one of my most precious memories. It was a memory of having a tournament in Holland. It's like a prestigious tournament, so all the big players, have won that prize one time, and I had like the most promising player from that tournament, and it still sits in my room like there, like, ooh, I'm happy to have won that one time. So
Yeah.
when we go to my parents' house, my children always ask like, "Oh, daddy, what's that?" And I'm like, "No, nothing," but it means so much, like at that point, like being surrounded with so many talented players, and that you get those rewards also, and be able to conquer many hardships, and still, you know, get to a point that you can say like, "Hey, I made it to the pros," and where the others didn't. At my surprise, like, hey, if you had a little bit of mentality or drive, you could be the best soccer player in the world or one of the best soccer players in the world. But I never understood that. I never understood it.
Mm. Sure.
So yeah, that's the most thing I like. Yeah, I think it's sometimes the mentality, the drive to be the best and be able and be willing to put in the work that's necessary to excel, but also extend the careers they are having right now. Because a soccer player's life is like this short. Now you're
Yeah.
standing here, everything is good, but tomorrow it can be like this. And if you're not willing to be able to give sacrifices to extend that period of the highest level, then I just think like you're taking it a little bit for granted. And I think you should count your blessings every day.
Yeah.
I made jokes about those boys. I'm like, hey boys, you're playing every day on the pitch, every day. I stopped with soccer like 11 years ago, but I'm still fitter. I'm still stronger, and I even beat you with some foot volley. How's that possible? I don't even touch the ball every day anymore. You're on the pitch every day. So how is that possible? You should be like thinking by yourself like, hey, I'll work this little old guy, this gray old bad man. But I don't know.
It's the mentality, but that's what I mean, I know you for a little time right now. We've spoken often, and that's what I appreciate so much as well. I see, I feel, I hear that strong will, that strong mindset, constantly reminding yourself to grind harder, to work through, and you also take many people with you in that process. The young boys with the Beyond Academy to the professionals that you coach, but also me, for example, giving some guidance, some structure and inspiration. And that, yeah, that means a lot to many people, I think. And that's a beautiful way of inspiring others. And it makes you a beautiful person as well. So, yeah, I really see that. I really feel that. I think for now, there are so many beautiful stories that you've shared, really opening up. Um, I'm interested. We're near the end. I don't know if there are any things that you would like to bring up or questions that you have.
What do I want to bring up? Yeah, we're now in a situation that everybody is like, stressed about, like thinking what's gonna happen the next, and how are we gonna get through these moments. And I think that an important point for us all together is that we have to support each other, help each other through these times, with being positive, like being positive, sticking to the rules, uh, yeah, lending a helping hand,
Mm,
and that's sometimes not easy to do for everybody because they're like thinking, okay, helping hand, what's that? Should I just go outside and help somebody over across the roads? No, it might just be somebody like a long time ago, and you might just pick up the phone and say like, hey, how are you doing? How's everything really doing with you?
yeah,
And if that person is in need, just you know reach out and maybe just be a listening ear. That's sometimes also enough. And yeah, we all got to get through this with each other. You're not alone in this thing. So um, everybody has the hardships. Everybody is going through a tough time. Some more than the other, but I think you shouldn't be selfish. You just I think it's going to be a lot of karma. What you give, you're going to get back.
yeah,
And yeah, I'm just believing in that one because um, yeah, to start a new story is like I wasn't always like that. When I was playing soccer, I was like quite ecocentric. I don't say that many of the soccer players are ecocentric, but when you play soccer, it's all about soccer. It's like the bubble. Nobody can come in. The soccer players know each other. Blah blah blah. That's it.
yeah.
And for me, it was like a revelation once I had the car accident when I was 27, and I was always like prejudiced, like oh that guy's that girl. I was like, and after my car accident, something happened to me, like really, hmm, like damn, what am I doing with my life? How can I
Mm,
treat people like this, and how can I live like that? Actually, is this life? Being a soccer player, okay, you enjoy the game, you get paid, you get a nice car, you get a nice house, everything, you get a nice life. But is this everything? What do I contribute to the world, to the community? What am I doing to help other people? And at that moment when I came out of that injury, it was like more like um, I have to give back to the people around me. Um, I got a second chance because the car accident was really tough. I was lucky, and yeah, it was like something has to change, and it changed me as a person also. I got more open, uh, wanted to help people more, but not only help like in a physical way, but also like just to listen and talk with somebody, and where somebody would just say like, "Oh, he's like that." No, Joe, I was like, say, "Hey, you gotta listen to the person first before you judge it. Don't judge the book by its cover. Always go in a conversation with somebody, and then after that one, you can choose if it's something you want to be with or not. If it's not something for you, hey, thank for it. You say, hey, nice talk, but you're not my type or whatever. Hey, have a good one. But if it is, you might just lose somebody if you don't think like that. You feel me?
mm,
If you
yeah,
always think like nah 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 nah, you might lose a lot of conversations and lose a lot of people who might be destined to be on your path.
yeah,
You
yeah,
understand that?
yeah. I do feel it.
And I had the feeling that before I got like injured or the car accident, that I lost a lot of people who I had to be connected with
Yeah.
because of my thinking, because of my doing. And after my after that situation, my whole world opened up. I met so many people. I connected with so many people. Um, things occurred. So many things occurred for me that I was like, whoa, you know. I went to Africa, all those things. I'm like, damn, like who would have thought, And just because you were open and yeah, I can say like I'm sincere. I'm not. I'm just, you know, what you see is what you get. You see, and I'm just want to be me. Just yeah, be myself and don't be fake or whatever. Just be real. And I think that's the most important thing for people to remember. Just stay real and stay true to yourself because then it doesn't even take effort, to go through life. And that's difficult for a lot of people because you see the Instagram, you see this, you see that. Everybody wants to be or do like that or have the same things like others, but it's not always um, destined for you to have that. Maybe you have a different journey or a different road. So accept that and just leave the hoax be the hoax. That's not the life. I know the life where we didn't have the internet, we didn't have the video calling. We had to write letters, and call the house number. Hey, Mr. Jans, is your daughter at home? Yeah, oh, okay, and the cellulars and everything. Yeah, that's something that came in. It just made the distance bigger, but also smaller for a lot of people. Because you see also that a lot of people can easily send messages. But the moment when you have to pick up and talk to somebody, or you see this person, you close up,
Yeah.
and that's something I just yeah, I don't like that. That's that's why I always call. I like to call. I don't do the text too much. I do the voice notes also. So when people type, I'm like, hey, and just talk with them. Sometimes you just call somebody and just talk with them. Hey, how was your day? What you doing? How did you do it? Why did you do it? And then it just makes my day. Every time I drive back from work at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, everybody's asleep here, but the drive from home and back, from the shop and back, I need to talk with somebody because the whole day I was busy with the energies of other people, negative, positive, or whatever. I'm just a big filter. So I'm filtering, filtering, filtering. At the end of the day, yeah, I want to get it out of my system, you know? So
Yeah.
I just want to talk with somebody, just get something on the phone, and the first time, oh, doesn't pick up. Okay, next one. Doesn't pick up. Oh, third, hey, oh, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then we talk, pop, pop, and then it's out. And for that person also it can be really, yeah, positive because they didn't expect me to call, you know, and then they just get into a conversation about life and get energized hopefully and see the next day even brighter than they had before. So that's it.
I couldn't imagine a better closing story than this one, with staying true to yourself and the need to support each other. I really
True.
can. And whenever you want to call, you got my number. So
Of
holla at
course,
me.
will do.
But my gratitude is very big for you opening up in this way and sharing all these beautiful stories.
No worries. I got many, many more.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I'm sure I'll hear them, and maybe we'll
Yeah.
come back with another podcast. But we are connected either way. You're a
Yes.
beautiful person, and thank you for everything. And for
Same
now,
here. Likewise.
have a great evening.
Yes. You too, my brother. Yes. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.